dotting the country's newest immigration facility as Alligator Alcatraz. And despite the fact that ICE detention is not supposed to be punitive, the Florida facility seems to be an embrace of the kind of cruelty the Trump administration has directed at immigrant communities since his inauguration. As Reuters put it, quote, the facility sits some 37 miles from Miami in a vast subtropical wetland teeming with alligators, crocodiles, and pythons. Fearsome imagery the White House has leveraged to show its determination to purge migrants it says were wrongly allowed to stay in the country under former President Joe Biden's administration. One Florida lawmaker telling NBC News, quote, they are locking people in a swamp with extreme heat with no clear plan for humane conditions. At a press conference earlier today to celebrate the facility's opening, Trump heralded it as what he hoped would be the first step in a national project.
Well, I think we'd like to see them in many states, really, many states. This one, I know Ron's doing a second one, at least a second one, and probably a couple of more. And, you know, at some point, they might morph into a system where you're going to keep it for a long time.
Joining our conversation, former Florida State Senator and current Florida Attorney General candidate Jose Javier Rodriguez, and joining me here in Washington, writer and editor for Protect Democracy, Amanda Carpenter. JJR, what is your greatest concern about this facility?
Well, first of all, if I was Attorney General, I'd be focused on the opioid crisis, the affordability crisis. But of course, this is political theater, and the audience is in Washington, right? As you mentioned, cruelty as immigration policy. And I think what you see is the governor and Attorney General Uthmeier trying to show how cruel and lawless they are and it worked, right? The president came and gave them a pat on the head for this. But the concerns are myriad. Just to, give you a flavor for some of the mess that this creates here in Florida, not just as an Attorney General candidate, but as a lawyer, former state senator. There's a number of legal questions as to how they're even able to do this. They have claimed emergency powers in order to seize land from local government, go around the legislature, hand out no-bid contracts to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars of money that's supposed to be going to hurricane preparedness. And, there's a number of life safety considerations as well. Law enforcement does not want deaths in their custody. And one of the concerns that I have is that this is a setup. This has been a very deadly year when it comes to deaths in ICE custody. And Florida alone accounts for half of them. So this is a disaster and a disaster, for our state, humanitarian, but also for our taxpayers. And it's all a big stunt.
Amanda, claiming emergency powers, reappropriating funds. We have seen this movie before.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think one question all Americans should be asking is, who is going to those camps? Because every time Donald Trump and Kristi Noem get in front of the cameras, they promise up and down it's going to be the worst of the worst, the rapists, the murderers, the drug traffickers. And yes, we do have problems in this country where those people do need to be arrested and dealt with. But then when you watch the news, the people picked up are grandmas, hairdressers, everyday people who are simply here to look for work. And the saddest part of this is that our country allowed them to come in and seek work to be abused in a lot of conditions. And now they're going to be sent to something like a tent city in the middle of the Florida Everglades on the taxpayer dime. And so, they can come out and promise, yes, this is going to be the worst of the worst. But when you look at the people who are actually detained, when you look at the way that these ICE officers are going into communities masked up, full out tactical gear, like they're going to war at Home Depot, and then they go in retaliation against some woman who's in her house because they can't find her boyfriend who hit her car, right? This is what's actually happening in America. They're blowing her doors open. We have a completely unaccountable agency doing these raids all over America. And they're going to throw all kinds of people in those kind of tent cities because the more politicized that an agency like ICE becomes, the less professional it is. At the same time, this Congress is passing a bill to plus up their budget something like $100 billion. There are going to be raids like they talk about doing a national project. These tent cities are coming near you. And think about the people they're going to put in there. Stephen Miller talks about wanting to arrest 3,000 people a day. Ask yourself, are there 3,000 rapists and drug traffickers to even fill up these prisons that they're building?
No, and
they will find people to fill them with.
That is why we've seen some of what we have seen out of Los Angeles, where they are willy-nilly picking people up off the street. JJR, to the point that Amanda made about the politicization here, you had the Florida Republican Party blasting out a fundraising email. They were advertising T-shirts, hats, beer koozies with the nickname of the facility on it. I mean, I know we say all the time that the cruelty is the point, but fundraising off the cruelty really seems to put an exclamation mark on the sentiment.
Yeah, it's disgusting, and I think for Floridians, the Everglades are a treasure. The Everglades, they try to make it seem like it's Jurassic Park, which is preposterous. But again, that goes to the point. The audience is national. They're trying to show how lawless and cruel they are. And again, if the point was to get the president to come and give him a pat on the head, it kind of worked. But to the point, the legal framework that they have in place does not seem to account for processing claims fairly and fully, right? Due process. In addition to the fact that, they seem to be highlighting that, right? The way they talk about it is, that they're going to fly people out right from the facility, and it's going to, so that's a big consideration, and goes to what you're talking about, this sort of attitude of doing, raids at daycares and just running up the numbers any way they can. But in addition to that are the life safety considerations. So, alligators and pythons are not really the worry. The real worry are the conditions at the facility, and this attitude of just running up the numbers. Taxpayers be damned, life safety be damned. It's very dangerous and very reckless.